Many people were concerned about your health. How are you doing now? And for the viewers out there who may not be familiar, what happened to you? Tell them a little bit about what happened and how you're doing.
Truly, it is good to see you here and be able to tell your story, because I know this has been quite a year of recovery, right?
Quite a year of recovery, you know. I'm your manager. We supposed to be in tune with each other. So when you feel like that you're not gonna go behind my back and do some bull like this, then I will give you the rights to your music. How about that?
Miss Juicy just dropped a bombshell, and it is giving exposed, exploited, and over it. For years, Little Women, Atlanta gave us messy drama, big fights, and even bigger personalities. But behind those wigs, heels, and shady confessionals, there's a whole other side of the story the cameras never showed. And now, Miss Juicy's cracking open that pretty little production box and showing us the dusty secrets inside. We're talking low pay, fake beefs, forced storylines, injuries, toxic work environments, and cast members allegedly having to work side hustles just to survive. Yup, some were dancing in clubs, others doing music, modeling, being vixens, anything to make ends meet. And if you couldn't hustle outside the show, you were stuck. Get ready, because this ain't your regular reunion recap. This is the real reality, and it's a mess. Let's start with the Queen of Atlanta herself, Ms. Juicy Baby. Recently, she opened up about the real reason she stepped away from the spotlight. And guys, it's deeper than we thought. According to Miss Juicy, being on Little Women, Atlanta was not all glam and glitz. She claims the show demanded so much from her body and mental health that it ended in her suffering a serious stroke in 2022. Like, this wasn't no, I need a nap situation. This was a life-threatening medical emergency.
Back in April, the end of April of this year, I suffered a stroke. And see, the emergency room, they sent me to one hospital first, went to the emergency room. I was completely out of it.
And here's the thing that made fans go, wait a minute. The production allegedly didn't care. Word on the curb is that cast members had to keep filming even when they were sick or physically exhausted. The set reportedly had no proper medical support, no mental health counseling, and no safety protocols for high-risk scenes. Miss Juicy said in interviews that she was working long hours with little rest and still expected to bring the drama on cue. And when you're a little person, the physical strain is multiplied. But did the producers care? Allegedly not. After her stroke, Miss Juicy took time to recover but started letting fans know that everything they saw on TV was far from the truth. She hinted at storylines being forced, cast members being pressured into conflicts, and how the Queen Bee persona came at a cost. That little crown, heavy AF. And now that she's healing, she's ready to let people know the truth. Because what happened to her should have never happened to anyone. Now, let's talk about the money. Or, better yet, the lack of it. One of the biggest secrets Miss Juicy and other cast members allegedly exposed is how low the pay actually was. Like, these women were carrying an entire franchise on their backs, trending on Twitter every week, and yet they were barely seeing checks big enough to pay rent. Make it make sense. Sources claim that some cast members were being paid up to just $10,000 per season in the early seasons, which is like the minimum reality stars get. And that might sound like something, but when you factor in filming schedules, travel, wardrobe, makeup, and emotional labor, baby, that money disappeared fast. To survive, many of the girls had to hustle hard outside the show. Some allegedly danced in clubs, others did promo appearances, brand deals, or even tried their hand at music and modeling. But let's be real, not everyone had those same opportunities. If you weren't marketable outside the show or didn't have a popping IG, you were basically stuck. And here's where it gets even messier. Production allegedly knew this. Some fans and insiders believe the producers used this desperation to manipulate cast members into doing more outrageous scenes. Fake fights, wild hookups, over-the-top confessionals, anything to stay relevant and maybe earn a little bonus. Miss Juicy, being the face of the show, may have gotten slightly better treatment, but even she admitted the money was not matching the madness. And when your health is crumbling and your bag ain't even secure, that's a setup. Let's be real. Not every fight you saw on Little Women, Atlanta, was organic. Allegedly, producers were constantly behind the scenes stirring the pot, pushing cast members into beef just to spice up the show. And the worst part? Sometimes, those fake setups turned real, with genuine fallouts and hurt feelings spilling off screen. Several cast members have hinted that they were told to start arguments or keep tension going even when they didn't feel like it. Miss Juicy herself said that producers expected her to play a villain role, always clapping back, always reading someone, even when she just wanted peace.
Do you think that she was really not sick?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Beat your ass. I swear to I am. Because that ain't no be playing with. That's my motherfucking hell.
And it wasn't just shady editing. Some of these confrontations allegedly happened because producers would feed false info to different girls to make them clash. So one cast member would walk into a scene already mad about something the other girl didn't even say. Faking drama for entertainment is one thing, but when it starts affecting real friendships, real reputations, and real mental health, that's exploitation. Tanya, for example, opened up in an interview saying she was uncomfortable filming the show because she wasn't in a good place mentally. She admitted that some of the drama was organic, but other times it felt pushed. And when things got disrespectful, it became real. She also revealed that producers wouldn't let her talk about her music and forced her storyline to revolve around baby daddy drama with Vaughn and Nico. Allegedly, they even held a grudge when she refused to let them film her in the delivery room. And she had just given birth while battling postpartum depression.
One part, but two parts, I feel, because at the end of the show, when I gave birth to my daughter Tahiri, I did not let them in the room, and they wanted to be in the room. They wanted me to let them in, and when I had her, you know, like I said, my pregnancy was crazy, you know, like I did a lot of deep healing, a lot of soul searching and everything.
This goes to show the show wasn't just scripted, it was strategic. And the cost? The cast's peace, health, and truth. Now let's get into the behind-the-scenes mess that really had fans side-eyeing the entire production. According to several cast members, the set of Little Women, Atlanta was allegedly chaotic, unorganized, and straight up unsafe. Yup, it wasn't just drama in front of the camera, it was drama behind it too.
I'm like, what was very sexist, let's just say that. You know what I'm saying? Very male dominant. You know, they didn't give a about how no females felt. You know, we was definitely, when it came time for everyone to eat, they would feed the crew and then they would get to us.
There were claims that the girls were made to shoot in unsafe locations, work through dangerous stunts, and film long hours with zero physical support. No stunt coordinators, no on-site nurses, no medical staff. And when accidents did happen, producers allegedly brushed it off and kept filming like nothing happened. Miss Juicy's stroke wasn't the only serious incident. Word is, several cast members suffered minor injuries while filming, from slips and falls to being hit during fights. And get this, it's rumored that producers encourage physical altercations because it made for good TV.
Turn on.
What?
Wait a minute. Did you wake up, bitch? Did she just fall? I fell in that hole.
Fans started noticing how many scenes showed cast members clearly uncomfortable, limping, or bruised. And when viewers asked about it online, their questions were often ignored or dismissed. One cast member, who chose to stay anonymous, allegedly said the crew would cut corners constantly. They'd film in extreme heat without breaks or inside cramped venues with no proper ventilation. And when someone would speak up, they were labeled difficult. It got so bad that some of the girls started bringing their own first aid kits to set. Because at the end of the day, they knew they couldn't count on production to have their back. And that's wild. So when Miss Juicy says she's lucky to be alive, But leave her, because between the lack of medical support, the pressure to perform, and the constant emotional stress, this wasn't just a toxic work environment, it was dangerous. So now that Miss Juicy cracked the door open, baby, the floodgates are wide open because other cast members started speaking out too. And the things they're revealing, it's painting a picture that's way darker than what Lifetime ever aired. Amanda and Andrea Salinas, better known as the Tiny Twins, have both hinted at how mentally draining the show was. They even hinted that personal moments, like her struggles with her children's health, were either downplayed or twisted for drama. Fans who used to think Andrea was just extra started to see her in a whole new light.
Andrea, why did you leave without even saying goodbye?
Yeah, why did you leave? Huh? I called you, you didn't answer.
And then there's Minnie. Rest in peace to Miss Minnie. After her tragic passing in 2020, fans started revisiting old episodes and noticed how much she was targeted by both cast and producers. Looking back, people are now questioning if the stress of being painted as the messy friend had deeper effects on her well-being.
There was a mugshot going around of you.
Yeah, I've been to jail. At my birthday party, Sam decided to bring up an old mugshot from my past.
The backlash toward producers has been loud. Fans took to Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit, dragging the network for how they handled the girls. Some even called for a boycott or an independent docu-series to finally tell the cast's side without all the editing and manipulation. And what's even more revealing, former producers have allegedly confirmed some of the claims. Now, the fandom is split. Some are calling for justice and accountability. Others feel guilty for ever cheering on the chaos. But one thing's clear, the truth is out and people are no longer watching with rose-colored glasses. Now that the smoke has cleared and the wigs are hung up, let's check in on the ladies of Little Women, Atlanta, because guys, surviving that show was no small feat. And let's be clear, they didn't just walk away with memories and memes. They walked away with scars, some emotional, some physical, and all of them had to find new ways to hustle after the cameras stopped rolling. Let's start with Amanda and Andrea Salinas, the Tiny Twins. These two are still out here grinding, making club appearances, doing promo gigs, and keeping their names alive on social media. But the hustle never stopped. Despite being breakout stars, the show alone wasn't enough to sustain them. They've had to keep it pushing, especially with Andrea juggling motherhood and family tension that played out both on and off screen. Survival mode stayed on. Then we got Abira, always bold, always ready to throw a little shade. Since stepping away from the chaos, she's been focusing more on her music. But she's also posted some not-so-subtle tweets hinting at how production really went down. She didn't name names, but the message was clear. Y'all weren't right, and I see you, a true survivor in her own right, using her platform to keep it pushing and keep it real. Tanya dipped out mid-season claiming personal reasons, but we know what that really means. Word on the curb is she was over the fake storylines and tired of being pushed into messy drama that didn't reflect her real life. Since then, she's been way low-key, focusing on her own healing and peace. Sometimes, survival means walking away. As for money, sis pulled a vanishing act. One day, she was front and center, and the next, she just ghosted the spotlight. But from what we know, she's been diving into more personal projects and keeping her circle tight. She didn't need to prove anything, she just needed peace. Miss Juicy is still recovering from her stroke, and while she's been quieter, insiders say she's got more tea to spill. So stay tuned. And sadly, we lost Minnie in 2020. Her passing shook the fan base, and her mother has since called out the show, hinting that there's still a lot we don't know. So when we look back at Little Women, Atlanta, the real question ain't who survived the drama, it's what was left behind after it all. Because underneath the wigs, the one-liners, and the staged feuds was pain, real pain. From low pay and alleged unsafe filming conditions to forced storylines and mounting health scares, these women gave their all and got crumbs in return. Miss Juicy started as the queen of ATL, but somewhere along the way she became one of the most allegedly overused and underprotected faces in reality TV. Fans loved her, but did the network truly value her? Or was she just another personality to package, promote, and push until she broke? Let's be real, the show made money, a lot of money. But who actually walked away with the bag? Because from the outside looking in, it seems like the cast paid the highest price, while production cashed the checks. And sure, it was sold as empowering, representation, visibility, inspiration. But once the credits rolled, the question still lingers. Was it really about uplifting little women or exploiting them for views and viral clips? Now here's the kicker. Rumors say Miss Juicy might be ready to spill everything. The contracts, the mistreatment, the manipulation. If that's true, oh baby, this legacy might not end with a reunion. It might end with revelation. And that would be the real finale we've been waiting for. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button if you're feeling the expose, and subscribe for more juicy updates. Also, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about everything that went down with Little Women Atlanta? Was it all worth it or just pure exploitation? Drop your comments down below and let's chat.